Hello everybody, it's WJ here and welcome back to Heimstadt. Today is detailing time. We start with the back entrance of the station. We place a flower shop for those who want to pick up a loved one from the station who has been abroad for a while and welcome them with a nice bouquet. And next to it, a kebab shop for those who are hungry. And then something that is probably a bit too Dutch for this city. But I guess I'm just too used to it to not build it. Bicycle shelters. The whole district is on a bit of a slope, so I have to work with that by creating a flat surface with ploppable pavement and some stairs around it. Quite simple and very effective, but you'll see that a bit later on. By the way, in the last episode I totally forgot to name this district, so let's do that now. Dürnau. Yes, Dürnau. I picked the names for the districts by looking on Google Earth at the names of smaller places in the general area of Österland, our fictional country. Which means, in this case, mostly southeastern Germany, eastern Austria and the south of the Czech Republic. This means you might have visited the town of Dürnau once. Do share in the comments if you have. On screen I'm just copying and pasting a lot of bicycles and switch them around a bit for a more random look. It might be difficult to see everything because the bicycles are in the shadows. But at least your saddle won't turn into a frying pan because it was in the sun for a few hours. And now I place the aforementioned ploppable pavements and adjust the size slightly before surrounding the edges with stairs. I need to adjust the height of the road as well to get a straight side without the ground popping through the pavement and without sinking the bicycles into the ground. On a side note, for me, doing this commentary is still the hardest part of making these videos. I'd like to do them on the go, but I've tried that and it seems all that comes out of my mouth is what I'm doing not very entertaining. So I make a lot of notes to make sure my commentary makes sense and flows a bit better. But it requires me to look at the video a couple of times. And as this video is over 20 minutes, you get that it takes quite some time. So I'll keep practicing doing commentary without notes until I feel more comfortable with that. And it might save me an hour or two. By the way, I use the prop version of these stairs as they cannot be turned into a procedural object. But I like the plain look of them for this area. Then some surface painting that I do not complete fully so I can see where I place down the paths in between the two shops to get people to walk around them. Now we're going to work on the back side of these shops. After placing these roads, I place some rusty fences to set the mood. I move the nodes of the road to get the entrance nicely in between the fences. On the other side there is a bit more room, so I need a longer fence. Then I decided to put a concrete wall here, so I can put some graffiti on it later on. But in this episode we don't have the time for that. Too much little work that needs too much time. And I already sped up the footage more than usual just to manage to get a bit more done, as I don't want these videos to be over 30 minutes. I still think 20 minutes is the best length to both keep the viewer entertained and actually get something done. Although maybe I should cut out more and just show the result in the cinematics. But I personally don't really like to see only the end result without showing how all was done. At least that has always been the idea behind the setup of this series, showing how things are done. But back to what I'm doing. I placed some chain link fence gates to close the inner area off. I moved one part of them into the building. I think that makes more sense in this case. Then it's time to really roughen up the place. I start with some skid marks to show where the trucks go to unload the goods for the shops. Then a ton of dirt, cracks and trash decals. The more, the merrier. There isn't much to talk about, the screen speaks for itself. So enjoy some good old hippity and a hoppity, and I'll get back to you when we move on to the next bit. These middle blocks of apartments are on quite the slope. There is about 1 floor difference in height between the left and the right building. But as the middle building is on the same level as the left one, its doors are a bit too high compared to the ground. So let's fix this with, again, ploppable pavement. You saw me just copying that concrete wall from the other side of the building, but I haven't showed you yet what I've done there. It will be shown after this side is done. But as I'm quite chaotic in my builds, I tend to not finish things before working on something else. But for the continuation of the video, I thought it would be best to first show this side and then the complete build of the other side, instead of cutting it in half. Oh, and by the way, there are 4 of these blocks, and all blocks get a similar treatment. So I only show one building, the copying and pasting isn't that interesting. I wanted a little playground for children here. Or seeing how well this neighborhood is doing, it might as well be a place where teenagers hang out to do stuff they shouldn't, like smoking weed and such, or worse. But don't do that, people. Drugs are bad, especially when you're hanging out in a sandbox. I surround the playground with a small wall. And then I pick out this concrete decal that to me resembles the rubber cushions or whatever they're called in English. Then I rearrange the wall again. Here, I wanted some different looking pavement to create a pathway between the several doors, the playground and the street. Against the side of the building I wanted some planters, otherwise there would be too much concrete. I leave a gap in front of the windows so the window washer can place a ladder here. And here in the middle of the pavement I added the dimensions of the planter to fill up the gap. And then we will fill the planter with some nice bushes. Here it's nice to have the trees snapping mud, so I can raise the bushes a bit. But that means I can't use the unlimited trees mod. So from time to time I have to remove some trees from the outer edges of the map. But until now that hasn't been a real issue. Now, over to the other side of the buildings. Instead of pavement, I decided to go for a grassy area here. I imagined the doors on this side to be the emergency exits. So, after I placed the ploppable grass squares, I built up some stairs, so people don't have to jump down and maybe break their legs, or worse. I lower the middle building a bit to get rid of the bump and then place concrete walls on the side. Here on the side of the building you can see the dark grey foundation popping up. I don't like the look of that, so I hide it with another wall piece. After that is done, it is again time for some bushes. Here the tree snapping mod also works wonders, except for the grass that is nicely overgrown. Then over to Adenholt to hook it up with a train station. I don't want the railroad heading there to interfere with other traffic, so I raised the avenue here quite a bit, so I can add a bridge without having to lower the railroad too much. I just move some nodes next to the railroad, then upgrade the section to be elevated. Lower the rail tracks slightly and all is well. On the edge of the district I wanted some larger commercial buildings, like a car dealer, a do-it-yourself shop and an electronica shop. The car dealer will obviously be selling Toyotas from the factory in Arndorf. I play around with the nodes and segments of the roads to get them closer to the buildings in a nice way. I wanted to keep the parking lots in front of the stores, so I put down some roads to create some kind of access to them. And now a lot of cars in front of the dealer. I will also need to put down some planters or bollards next to the road to prevent thieves from driving away with the cars too easily. But of course I just thought about that while editing this video, so that will be done in a later episode I guess. And after that I will place one more building that doesn't really have a purpose yet, and then this episode will come to a close. If you have seen any assets that you would like to use yourself, I have 3 collections that are linked in the description for what I use in this series. One for all the mods, one for the buildings, and one for all other stuff such as props, roads, vehicles, etc. But beware, do not download all of them at once. You'll need quite some RAM to use all of the assets. I advise you to just look through the collection and only subscribe to what you like. And remember to always read the description, or you might end up breaking your game. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, do leave them in the comment section. I would like to thank you for watching, and if you like this video, give it a nice thumbs up. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Everything I thought of
On screen, confident. It might be difficult. The car dealer will obviously be selling Toyotas from the factory in Arndorf. My God, this is horrible. Just one bit, like everything went so well, and now I just get stuck on Arndorf.